what are some of the new things that have changed? If you're watching, I borrowed the menu. I'm going to return it tomorrow, but I'm 100% going to butcher the names of these items. Normally I will do a lot of research to make sure I try to pronounce things correctly, but I'm just going to do my best, which is the best that any of us can do. But one of the things I expected was that there would be like a couple new items. I didn't realize it feels like a menu overhaul. A lot of things have changed, more things than I anticipated, to the point where under small bites, for example, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's 6 items under small bites, and 3 of them are brand new, right? That's half of the menu. I immediately opened it and was like, oh my gosh, is our meatballs' most favorite chicken dish on there, right? I'm not even going to try to pronounce anything. The crispy chicken dish, absolutely delicious. That's still there. Don't sweat it. The seafood scallion pancake, that's still there, available to you. The nori rice crisps, those are still there, available to you. Ahoy, sailors. I'm Christine Lozada. Welcome to the Virgin Voyages Tips podcast, an insider guide to navigating Virgin Voyages like a pro. You can find this on YouTube and every podcasting platform, but check the show notes. There's additional helpful information in there and a killer deal. So let's dive in. But what's changed are these 3 new items. And so let's turn on what I shot in tonight's footage. So first I shot the menu, right? Lots and lots of changes there. We're going to go through each of the sections. They still serve the small plates to start with, right? That has like the kimchi, and it has like the greens, the watercress with the eggplant, the potatoes, all of that. All that stuff is still served beforehand. Very traditional Korean style to get those little small plates beforehand. A lot of the people that I ate with tonight were completely brand new to Korean food. So they were like, oh, are we supposed to wait and mix this with the food? No, they're just small things you snack on beforehand. But one of the first items that came out was this cucumber avocado with pepper threads. I loved this dish. It was so refreshing, and it had like these really nice, and I was scared that the pepper threads were going to be really spicy, but I thought they were absolutely delicious. Loved that item, thought it was really refreshing. I am literally laughing out loud right now as I'm thinking about showing you guys the unedited behind the scenes footage. The other thing that came out that was really, really nice was and almost everyone at the table ordered this. It was the shrimp items, which I had jumped over to someone else's table really quick. And everyone there was eating theirs because I was saying hi to someone. But I ordered that as well. And that shrimp dish, I would say the consistency was not what I expected. And so this item is called the shrimp kimbap rolls. And when I've had kimbap in the past, which during eat and drink, they're going to have a version of kimbap that I'm very familiar with. It makes me wonder, I'm like, have I had a different kind of kimbap? Because it normally looks like big sushi rolls, like big, thicker sushi rolls. And these were something totally different, where like the consistency was different. And it wasn't, I don't know, it didn't feel like shrimp pieces. It was like almost like a shrimp sausage. And everyone agreed at the table. They're like, oh, this consistency was weird. Yet at the same time, everyone ate all of their shrimp kimbap rolls. So I thought that was really delicious. I enjoyed that dish a lot. That was a good one. And then the kimchi pancakes, right? So these kimchi pancakes are the same. It's the same consistency, the same look and feel as the previous pancakes that they had, right? So they still offer the mixed seafood and scallion pancake. That has stayed the same on the menu. But what has changed is now that they've added this additional item. So still have the crispy chicken, that was delicious. But this is the footage I have of the pancake. So the pancake comes out really thin, super crispy. It has its own delicious sauce with a ton of sesame in it. It's a really delicious item. For me, I try not to eat tons and tons of fried food. It's definitely a very fried item, but a really delicious one. And again, all of these items, like the whole menu is meant to be shared family style. And so it was tough because, well, everyone wanted their own dishes at our table, which I fully respected. But I basically had so much food because I ate 3 small dishes just by myself. So those are the new small bites. Let's move on to this next section. which after the small bites, they have the rice, noodles, and stews, and there's definitely a lot of changes here. One of the first things I realized is they have removed the bibimbap. So the bibimbap is no longer on here anymore. I actually thought that was really, really popular. So I'm surprised it's not there anymore. But you have 3 items. You have 3 items under the rice and noodle section, and all of them are brand new. So I had all 3 items. And the first item that I had was the spicy rice cakes. And it has some zucchini in it. You can see there's like, it's sliced relatively thin, and then it has some shiitake mushrooms in it, and then sesame seeds as well. This dish was, for me, the normal chicken, the fried chicken dish they serve, that's spicy for me. So I usually get the sauce on the side. It's not like so crazy spicy I can't handle it. I still eat it. This dish felt the same, where it was really spicy. I could still handle it and eat it. I don't eat a lot of spicy food. So if you don't eat a lot of spicy food, it might feel a little bit spicy for you. But I thought it was super delicious because the flavors really came together. When you look at it, it looks way more spicier than it actually is. But one of the things I really loved about it was the consistency of the rice cakes. They were so perfectly prepared. I really, really enjoyed this dish. Granted, I couldn't eat a lot of it. These portion sizes are not small, in my opinion. The next dish that was under here was a really nice seafood dish. And the couple that was sitting next to me loved this dish. They ate the entire thing. I thought it was really good. This is probably the dish I ate the most of, but it's a silken tofu stew. So there's really like beautiful tofu that's in there, but it actually has an egg that's broken on top. So there's an egg that's broken on top, so it is a runny egg. Not everyone loves a runny egg. I love a runny egg. So just be aware of that with this dish. So it does have this runny egg on it, and it's silken tofu stew with tofu stew, clams, mussels, and shrimp. And they do not skimp on the amount of seafood that's in here. It's a lot of seafood. To be totally honest, I'm kind of surprised it's not a treat yourself item. I could imagine them making a treat yourself item as a bigger size. It kind of reminded me, not flavor-wise, but just with how much seafood was in there and just how lovely the dish came together, it reminded me of the treat yourself seafood item, the stew that they have at Lucky Lotus, which is the Razzle Dazzle, Lucky Lotus by Razzle Dazzle that's on Scarlet Lady. Kind of reminded me of that in a way, but this is on the normal menu. You don't have to pay anything additional for it. Lots and lots of seafood in there. I absolutely love this dish. I thought it was really, really tasty. It felt like it needed some rice, like plain white rice or something, which normally under rice, they normally do offer that. You just have to ask for it. I didn't think to ask for it. I also didn't want to ask for any more food than I actually needed. It was a lot of food. And if you're watching the video, you'll see right now I'm turning the third dish. So the third dish is the kalbi jim, which is a soy braised short rib, egg ribbons, chestnut, and daikon. The flavor on this, and it felt very like homey stew-like, absolutely delicious. Very, very heavy. They did not skimp on how much meat they give you. Hence, you'll see why I have the meat sweats. This was the warm up for the meat sweats. But this dish had really large pieces of short rib. They were absolutely delicious. Really nice, soft, stewed carrot. A really fatty, I don't want to call it a broth, but whatever, I don't even want to call it sauce either. The liquid that it was in, and then the egg pieces, very standard Korean, delicious, with the green onion, and then more of those nice decor with the red pepper ribbons and then sesame on top. Delicious item, probably another great one to have with some rice, especially if this is like one of the only dishes you're having. If I just stopped here, this dinner was enough for 2 people. Like just between these couple small bites and these 3 noodles, rice noodles and stews, it's a lot of food. So I absolutely enjoyed all of this. And then it was time to move on to the next part, which is the BBQ Grill. Which, by the way, if you're listening to today's podcast episode and it's fun or interesting at all, tell me in the comments below. I don't it is painful to my eyeballs to be showing you guys this behind the scenes footage. I'm not used to showing the raw stuff like this. Maybe it's fun for you, maybe it's not. Let me know. I'm happy to do more of it. Ahoy, sailors. Quick announcement from Christine popping in to remind you that the show notes or the description of this podcast has a ton of helpful info that most sailors miss. And one thing that's in there is a killer deal. There is a reason why other travel agents book with us. And even if you've already booked your sailing, it takes just 2 steps and 10 seconds to get a price comparison with us. So check the description and let's get back to the episode. All right, let's bring it back to the menu because we're going into the BBQ Grill with one of the items I absolutely loved, which was this new option for a very, very veggie forward item. So this mix of BBQ Grill had different kinds of peppers, asparagus, mushroom, and it's just your vegetable combo. This is a great one for both vegetarians and vegans, and they don't skimp, right? It's a big serving. And also, if you're vegetarian or vegan, this is something where, I mean, obviously you can just ask for 2 portions of it. Ask them for a double order if you want a lot of it, for example. You're never limited to whatever they give you. You can always ask for more. But this was really nice, and I don't know, just our crew did an amazing job cooking all of the vegetables. They were perfectly grilled, in my opinion. It was really, really delicious. And I love using a mixture of all the 3 sauces they provide, which again is a sesame oil, and then it's like a chili paste, and then they have the soy like powder. Really, really delicious. I love using all 3 of them. So the grill was absolutely delicious. And right now there are 4 items under the BBQ Grill, plus 1 treat yourself item. And I need to do a comparison of what the menu items used to be. I do remember the treat yourself item before was the Wagyu beef, which I thought was really, really good, but I didn't love because they would each item, each Wagyu was individually rolled up, and they would have to unroll each piece and then cook each piece and then hand you each piece. It took forever. And I had the opposite experience with the new item, which is the Ssam that's on there. We'll get to that. But the vegetable item, absolutely loved this dish. Again, normally you're eating things family style, but for our table, everyone did their own individual items. I would basically shoot for you guys each item, put a couple pieces on my plate, and then just offer it out. We tried our absolute best to get through as much of this as possible. I love the vegetables. All right, here comes the Ssam. It is not small. Let's talk about this treat yourself item next, which it comes in 2 parts. And I've only done Ssam in one other place before. And if you've ever dined in New York, actually, it's not just New York City. David Chang also had restaurants of Momofuku in other cities. He had a location in Vegas, in the Cosmopolitan. Freaking love that place. But when I lived in New York City for 4 years, I used to always go to Momofuku in, I was going to say the East Village, but to be honest, all of their locations. But at the East Village location, they had a Ssam option. It's a whole roasted pork butt served with oysters and caviar. And the way it's meant to be served is like everyone has appetizers beforehand, the small plates, etc. And then the main dish is you clear the table. And the way it's meant to be at Gunbae is they'll put a cover over the hot plate that they normally cook on, and they will instead bring this pork butt tableside. They bring the pork butt tableside, and then they'll prepare it. In other words, they'll shred the pork so it becomes kind of easy to pick up and serve yourself. And everything goes in the center, and you're basically taking the side accompaniments, which is carrots and green onion and the lettuce pieces, and you're basically just mixing it all together, and you're eating this family style. So that's what how I've done Ssam in the past. They do it the same way here. So in my opinion, basically traditional. And the oysters are normal, but I've never had it with the caviar. This caviar portion was not small. It was not small. It was a large portion of caviar. The oysters were actually unique and different than the oysters I'm used to having at the wake. So these ones felt a little bit bigger, thicker, more buttery. And I don't know, maybe these are the oysters from the wake. I had the seafood tower 3 weeks ago on this ship when I was on a sailing earlier this month. These ones tasted totally different. I do think this caviar is the same caviar that they serve at SIP. That is an optional option available to you. A lot of people don't realize they have that caviar option. At SIP, so many people ask me like, oh, what are the nice like luxury upgrade items? Go get the caviar at SIP. Go have the high tea at SIP with the Macallan whiskey. This was absolutely fantastic. The oysters were delicious. They came in a large number. They gave you half a dozen oysters, plenty of lemons, big chunk amount of caviar. And then the pork, I mean, in my opinion, serves, we didn't even get through half of it. I don't know. I asked the crew 2 things. I told my waitress, one, if you guys are allowed to take the rest of this, like please have it. Because sometimes the crew is allowed to accept things from sailors like that. And I said, if you're not allowed to, you don't have to tell me. Like, please offer it to the table that just sat down in case they want to try it. I didn't know what else to do with it. I basically just didn't want to send it away and not. Anyway, food waste is really hard for me. This, honestly, ethically, was one of my most difficult evenings because I don't like food to go to waste. And I tried really hard to eat everything, which is why I'm gonna stop blabbing about having the meat sweats. I have the meat sweats so badly. So the way that they prepare it tableside, create your own plate with it, but she actually plated it for us. So since we had the hot plate in use and we were not having it the way it's normally served, she went ahead and just plated it for us tableside and then would hand us a plate of it, which is really nice. So she like made a nice little plate with each of the accompaniments. The other new item that's on here under the BBQ Grill is the seafood item. So there's a squid, octopus, and scallop option. You're like, oh no, there was seafood before. Yeah, there was seafood before, but this is a new seafood item that they have under there. So that's that one. Here's the other item that's new, and this is the bulgogi that I talked about in the beginning. You can see that the portion size for one is still a nice portion size, but it's not like crazy humongous. So if you know that this is something you want a lot of, you can always ask for a double portion. People always ask for double portions of things. But soy marinated ribeye with onions. It also had a little bit of garlic on there. Absolutely delicious. The bulgogi, the flavors on it were absolutely right. And then the last option is a mixture of different things. So that's short ribs, pork belly, and shrimp, which is the same that they had before, which was probably the item that they served out the most, especially when people were doing family style. The Treat Yourself Bow Ssam, currently priced at $75. Like, in my opinion, like the pork alone was so much food and absolutely delicious. But to get 6 oysters and a huge amount of caviar, I don't know. Like for me, I'm like, that's absolutely worth it. The last time I got 6 oysters, where was I? I was I was in Miami. I think 6 oysters was like $38. It was like basically half the price of this, right? More than half the price of this. More than half by a tiny bit. Anyway, really great option for something like that. Also changed is the soft serve and sweets. So all these 3 items are brand new on the menu. Nothing has changed on the drink side of things. But the first 2 items, which I don't even know how to pronounce this. I'm going to go with Shikye, Shikhye, is a soft serve. And so it's a flavor soft serve. And then they have the black sesame. So it's basically 2 different flavors of soft serve that you can have. That's one. And then the other new item is the Korean pancake. The Korean pancake is the second item. I thought it was really quite delicious. Just in general, for people who like desserts on Virgin Voyages, usually Gunbae is not the #1 for people. I still think with these menu changes, it's still not going to be the #1 for most people. But I mean, don't forget, the sweet spot is right outside in the galley on Virgin Voyages. The final shot I have here is, in case you've never seen the Gunbae hot plate covered, I just took a quick video and you basically, just looks like a normal table, right? It's just the hot plate is covered with another piece of metal. But I really enjoyed tonight's dinner at Gunbae. It's not a short one. So I sat down around 8:30 p.m. That's what time I checked in at, right? You have to wait for your table to get filled. You're sitting with strangers. And then everyone's kind of ordering together at the same time. Because I ordered all of these dishes and I did dessert, half the table had already left because they were not doing dessert, which is no problem. You don't have to wait for everybody by any means. It's your cruise vacation. But I was there from 8:30 till 11:10. So I was there for quite some time and then just walked straight up to the pajama party afterwards and went and checked it out, said hi to some people. I love meeting you guys. So let me know if you want to see more like this. Tell me in the comments below. Send me an email, hello@christinelozada.com. It means a lot to me when I get to meet you guys because it feels like all this hard work is worth it. Don't forget, I want you to book your sailing with us. Gunbae. I'm excited. I'm super thrilled to bring my parents here when they sail with me this fall. I know my parents are going to love this. I know my dad's going to love that. The new bulgogi item. That's going to be really delicious for him. All right, roll the end credits. This has been another episode of Virgin Voyages Tips Podcast. If it was helpful, please share it with somebody. And we want you to book your sailing with us. We'd love to help you set sail because we're here for you every step of the way. A reminder to check the show notes. Things on Virgin Voyages changes all the time, and you'll find more helpful links and resources in the description. We'll see you in the next episode. A lot of people are like, oh, show yourself eating on camera. And a true behind the scenes, if you care to hear it, the reason why I don't eat on camera, actually, there's two reasons. One, I'm a very messy eater, like not on purpose, but I have food all over my face. It's all over my hair. I have food in my lap. It's just, Meatball laughs at me all the time. I just kind of a messy eater. But the other reason is anytime I eat on camera, it's very hard for me not to make it look sexual. And the amount of not desired by me comments that I get afterwards is not worth it. So like I would rather just not eat on camera so I don't have to deal with any of the types of comments I get of, anyway, there's a lot of things I have to deal with as a creator that I don't talk to you guys about, but I'm sharing that outright because the last time I did a podcast about Lucky Lotus, tons of complaints from people that I don't eat on camera, and now you know the reason why. So there you go. One of the things that I'm also laughing about is I try, like the reason why I never have the lights on my food from when the shot starts is I try not to disturb the people who are eating around me. And before we even sat down, I apologized to everyone, let them know I was shooting content, that I was going to try to use my light as little as possible. So I try to bring it out just for the shortest amount of time to get the shot.